Hi, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well. If you're new here, my name is Emily and I teach yoga, hatha yoga and yin yoga to all levels really. This practice I have designed to be more of an intermediate level practice just because we're going to flow through things fairly quickly and fluidly. So I'm not going to give too much talking or explanation around each pose. I'm going to let you feel into your own experience. So if you're a complete beginner to yoga, this might be a little bit challenging to keep up with. But as long as you've got a bit of yoga behind you, a bit of yoga under your belt, that's what I mean, then you should be fine with this practice. So bring yourself down to sit with the legs crossed. If you need to sit on a cushion, that's fine. And we'll come to stillness for a moment to settle to begin. So let your hands come to rest. Sit tall, but let the shoulders relax. And either close your eyes or just lower your gaze, turning your focus inward. Notice how you feel in this moment, becoming completely aware of your body sitting on the ground beneath you, your hands resting on your knees or your thighs. Aware of the space around you, but slightly removed from it as your awareness has gone within. Notice your state of mind in this moment, whether your mind is active and busy, or whether it's quite easy to drop into a place of stillness. No judgment, just noticing. Then begin to lengthen and deepen your breath. Taking the breath in and out through the nose, and sending the breath deep into the lungs as if you're filling your belly with each breath. And as we move through this practice together, I'll remind you to try and stay with this level of awareness. Awareness of the body, the mind and the breath. Draw your palms together now in front of your heart in Anjali Mudra. We'll set an intention for this practice to move carefully, to listen to our bodies and to make adjustments accordingly. And if there's any other intention that you'd like to add, you can just think of that now or say it quietly to yourself, thinking of why you want to practice yoga today and how you'd like to treat your body and your mind through this time. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes or lift your gaze, become aware again of the space around you, the room that you're in. Sitting tall now, bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, push forwards with the palms, spreading out the fingers, and then let your chin tuck to your chest. So pushing with the hands, stretching between the shoulder blades. Take a full breath here. Then inhale to lift your arms to the sky. Big stretch up. Exhale, stretch the arms out wide and bring them behind you. Interlace the fingers with the palms facing in towards each other. Squeeze your shoulder blades back and together and reach your knuckles towards the wall behind you. So opening up the chest. You can lean onto the knuckles if they want to come onto the ground for a bit of support, or they can just be floating up away from the ground. Big full breaths here, maybe feeling that the breath is almost higher up in the chest now than in the belly. And then release your hands, bring them out in front of you, just gently folding forwards, just stretching into the hips. Lift your head slightly and walk your hands over to one side. Either way, we're going to do both. Take the hands over, bring the fingertips to the ground and really stretch the hands away, keeping the opposite buttock planted down. So we get this stretch along the side of the body and down into the lower back on that side. Nice big breath. And then walking the hands over the other way. Same thing, keeping the opposite sit bone, the opposite buttock planted down on the mat as you reach away with the fingertips, lengthening out the arm. Big breath here. And then bring the hands back to the centre, walk the hands back in to sit up. Now notice which way you've got the legs crossed, because we are going to switch them the other way in a moment. So I've got my left leg in front of my right, so I'm going to switch over after. Take note, bring your hands to the backs of your thighs, lean back and lift your legs for a little gentle boat pose. Hands are supporting the thighs, we draw the shoulders back and lift the chest. So you can either just have the feet floating here, you can bring them down whenever you need, or if your legs feel up to it, you can really stretch them out, reach the legs up, roll the ankles, wiggle the toes. Keeping that chest lifted, shoulders drawing back. And then I'm going to bring the legs down to cross the legs the other way. So I'm bringing my right leg in front of my left now. Again, get settled there. And taking the arms out by your sides, bring one arm up and over into a side bend. You can choose which way you want to start with. Big stretch over, let your head drop, soften the opposite shoulder. And reaching up, we'll switch over, going the other way. Again, softening opposite shoulder, keeping sit bones planted down. Coming back through to the centre, go once more each way. Nice big breath as you arrive there, lifting and opening through the chest. And then back through to the other side. Lovely. Coming back to centre. Bring the hands together at the heart, interlace the fingers, push forwards with the palms, tuck the chin to the chest, just like we did before. Big breath here. Inhale, take the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, open out wide. Interlace the fingers behind the back, maybe crossing the thumbs the opposite way this time. Draw the shoulders back, open the chest, reach back with the knuckles. Nice full breaths here. Okay, release the hands, bring them forwards. Come into that gentle forward fold. Nice full breaths, maybe feeling as if you're breathing into the back of your body now. Keeping both buttocks glued to the mat so they're not lifting up. And then just lifting the head slightly, we're going to walk the hands over to one side. Again, we're going to do both, so go whichever way you want first. Reaching away with the fingertips, keeping the opposite sit bone glued to the ground. Nice full breath. And then walking the hands over the other way. Same thing, big stretch through the arm. Big full breath. Coming back to the centre, sit up tall again. Take the hands to the backs of the thighs, lifting into that gentle boat. Again, you can have a little wiggle around with the toes, keep the shoulders drawing back, chest lifted. If you know that it's within reach for you without any kind of strain, without forcing or pushing it, you can bring the hands to the outer edges of the feet and maybe lift the legs up here, giving them a good stretch. Now be honest with yourself, if that's going to hurt, if it's going to strain, then don't do it. Or keep a bend in the knees as much as you need. Or stay with this version. You know your body best, so go with what it needs. Don't force it, don't push it too far. Another breath wherever you are. And gently bring everything down. We're going to come through onto all fours. So swivel the legs around. Come down to tabletop position. Start to go through a little cat and cow at your own pace. So inhaling as you lift the head, as you open along the front of the body. Exhaling as you round your back, tucking your chin, pushing with your hands. Keep that movement going at your pace. And let's start to find a little bit of side to side movement as well. So maybe rolling the hips over to one side and then back again. Just exploring any kind of sensations, any stretches you feel all around the back, along the sides of the torso, into the abdominals. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. Just see how your body wants to move. Can you find a slightly different way of moving through cat and cow today? When you're ready, we're going to tuck under the toes, take the hands just a little bit further forwards, pushing up to downward facing dog. And again, having a good old wiggle around here, pedaling the feet, lifting onto the toes, rocking the hips one way and then the other, whatever your body feels like it wants to do. And if this is a pose that you practice really regularly, see if you can find something new with this today. A new sensation, a new way of moving. And we're going to take the right leg up into three-legged dog. Just taking that foot up as high as you can. Roll the ankle, that right ankle. Keep pushing actively through both hands. Keep the arms strong and straight. Take a bend in that right knee. Let the foot drop over and lift the knee towards the ceiling. Doesn't matter whether your left heel is on the ground or lifted. Just find that lift with the right leg. Take a breath in. As you exhale, big step forwards, bring your foot up between your hands. Give it a hand if it needs it. It doesn't have to be one big step. And lower the back knee. Lift your chest, come up onto the fingertips. Really push this knee forwards. Don't worry too much if it goes beyond the ankle. It's not going to do any harm. Feel that left hip flexor, the front of the left hip starting to open up there. And then bring the fingertips back a little bit and start to pull the hips back, lifting the toes into this half split. You're going to rock forwards and back a few times. Inhale as you take the knee forwards, lifting the chest. Exhale as you bring the hips back, lifting the toes. Just go through that a couple of times, nice and steady. See if you can really find a fluidity to the movement. Then coming forwards into this lunge, we're going to lift the back knee, place the left hand to the mat and reach the right hand up into a big twist. Lovely. Reach that hand up. And then take this right arm as if you were taking cactus arms. Take a little bend into it. See if you can open the chest a bit more by pulling that elbow back. If that doesn't make sense to you, leave this out. If it does make sense, reach that arm up again. Take a breath in and then exhale, cactus that arm and open out the chest a bit more. Lovely. And then bringing that arm all the way down. I'm going to step back into plank. Take a breath here, just finding your balance. Finding your breath, finding that power. And then gently lower the knees, bend at the elbows and release your body to the ground. Point the toes back, come up into cobra as you inhale. Exhale to lower down. And take the hands a bit wider, a bit further forwards to wherever they naturally want to go. And again, lift on the inhalation, pointing the toes, keep the legs active. Exhale as you come down. And on this third one, reach your hands behind your back, interlace the fingers and lift, reaching the knuckles back into a version of locust, pointing the toes. You can keep the feet on the ground today. Big stretch of the shoulders. Pause up here if it feels safe. If you need to come down, come down. Listen to your body. If it feels good here, you can even try a little very gentle rock side to side, really opening up into those shoulders, lifting the knuckles away from the body. This might be too much, so leave it if it's not right for you. Once you've done that a couple times, just release everything down to the ground. Bring your body to rest for a moment. Soft in the legs, soft in the arms. Nice deep breath. You can stay there if you want, or you can bring the hands back under the shoulders, gently push up onto your knees. I'm going to come into puppy pose or heart to earth pose. So bring the hips over the knees like this, maybe tucking the toes, you can see which you prefer. Then reach your hands forwards and let your heart just drop towards the ground. So big stretch of the shoulders, let your head release. Head doesn't have to come towards the ground. It might do, it might not. Either way is fine. But the focus here is this big old stretch through the shoulders. Keeping a little effort through the core. So pull the belly back, pull in from the belly button. Nice deep breath here. And then start to take your weight forward so that you can ease out of this. So take your chest forwards and then bring the hands back a touch. Tuck the toes back into downward facing dog. Really feeling that openness around the shoulders now in downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet, again see what you need. When you're ready, taking the left leg up, three-legged dog. Don't know if you heard that clicking, but that's my hips clicking open. Roll that left ankle, big circles, pushing with both hands. And then let the left knee bend, let that foot drop over and lift the knee towards the sky. Big breath in. As you exhale, leading with that left foot, big step forwards between the hands, lower the back knee. Cool. Same as before, we're going to reach forwards with the left knee, come up onto the fingertips. Feel that big opening along the front of the right hip. Nice big breath here. And then take the fingertips back a little bit. We're going to move through this little flow. So pull the hips back, lift the toes. Feel that stretch along the back of the leg. You can let your hips drift as far back as they need. And then start to move. Breathing in as you come forwards, lifting onto the fingertips, pushing the knee forwards. Breathing out as you take the hips back, lengthening that left leg, lifting the toes. Again, find your version of this. Doesn't have to look like mine. Find a way of moving, flowing with the breath. Really, the shapes that we make don't really matter that much as long as we're being safe with our bodies. The practice of yoga is the awareness. That's what we're really working on. How does it feel as you move? Can you synchronize with your breath? Can you be totally present with this? Okay, next time you come forwards into the lunge, place the right hand to the mat, tuck the toes and lift the back knee. Take the left hand up to the ceiling, turning your chest, really opening up along the chest. And take a breath in as you reach to the ceiling. As you exhale, you can try this kind of cactusing of the arm, bending the elbow, drawing it behind you just slightly. Inhale, reaching back up. Leave that if it doesn't work for you. If it does feel good though, you can do one more. And then bringing the hand down. This time, hop the back foot up to the front. Coming into a forward fold, we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, reach the knuckles up towards the sky. Lovely, softening the knees so the belly is kind of resting on the thighs, head is nice and heavy. You can gently shake out the head left to right. Take a big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Don't be afraid to look weird. Another big breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And let the arms drop down. Take your feet a bit wider on the mat. Turn the toes out and sink your hips down into Malasana, into this yogi squat. Your version of it. It might be up on the toes, it might not be coming down as low as that. Whatever works is fine. And then try and take a little movement side to side. So coming right up onto the toes of one foot as you push the knee out and then going the other way. Again, don't be afraid to look weird. Most of these movements that we're doing in yoga look a bit weird. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just see how it feels. If this isn't feeling good in your hips or your ankles, then leave it, or come to stillness, or just come to sit down. But if it does feel good, go with it for a couple more breaths. And then see if you can come to the center, come to a place of stillness in Malasana, your yogi squat position. If this isn't your favorite, sit down and bring the soles of your feet together, knees wide instead, into cobbler's pose or Baddha Konasana. Either way, the knees are open, the hips are open, and we're lifting through the chest. I'm going to sit tall, whichever version we're in. Shoulders relaxing down, nice and broad through the shoulders, maybe using the upper arms to push the knees out if you're in this squat position. And whether you're in Baddha Konasana or Malasana, whichever pose, see if you can either close your eyes or just lower your gaze, looking towards the ground. Keep this lift through the chest, openness around the hips. And just let your breathing settle. Okay, then bring your hands to the ground. You're going to come to sit in a wide straddle, so bring your hands behind you. You might need to swivel around on your mat so that you've got space out to the side. Take the legs out wide. If you need to, you can sit up on a cushion, have a little shuffle around, lifting the toes. Nice. And bring the fingertips out in front of you. Start to walk the hands forwards. You can have a bend in the knees as much as you need. Just coming forwards to first point where you start to feel a bit of resistance, keeping those toes pointing up towards the ceiling. I'm going to move through a little sequence here, just a simple flowing stretch for the legs. Walk your hands over to your left leg, turning to look towards that foot. And then pick up your right hand and reach it up towards the ceiling. And then bring it back down. Start to walk back through the center, leaning the chest forward. Walk over towards the right foot, turning to look to that right foot, keeping the toes lifted. And then lift the left hand, reach it up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhale, bring it down. Just going to repeat that. Walking through the center, take a breath. Turning to look to that left foot. Inhale, reach right arm up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it down. Walking through the center, maybe leaning forwards a little bit more now. Over to that right foot. Inhale, take the left hand up. Exhale, bring it down. Let's keep that going. Go at your own pace, walking through the center, coming around and then reaching up. Maybe this time pausing to take that arm over, reaching towards the foot. Doesn't have to come anywhere near, doesn't have to look anything like what I'm doing. But if it feels good, you can go into a little big side stretch. Obviously really feeling it, really into it. My words aren't making sense. So then coming over the other way, take that arm up, big opening. And again, if it feels good, you can take it over. Be honest with yourself though about what feels good. Don't just do it because I'm doing it. Listen to your body. Let's go a couple more times. Be mindful of your back. See how it's feeling. Come out of this if you need to. And then once you've evened it out, so we started by going over to the left foot. So once you've been to the left and to the right an even amount of times, walk yourself back around to the center and just pause there in this forward fold. Toes lifted, coming onto the hands, forearms, wherever you need to be. Just let your head drop. Keeping that effort through the legs though, with the toes lifting up. Nice deep breath. And then walk your hands back in. Just lean back and bring the legs together. Bring yourself back into a comfortable seat. Shoulders relaxing down. Hands come to rest. Sit tall. Close your eyes or lower your gaze to the ground. Just notice how you feel. Soften your jaw, relax your forehead. Take your focus back to the breath. And bring your palms together in front of your heart. Thank you for joining me for this full body, stretchy, flowing sequence. Take care of your body. If you feel that you'd like to take a little bit longer to stretch, maybe to lay down, I'll share some videos in the description below. There's a little add-on video which is a floor stretch and shavasana, so that might be a nice place to go next. Thanks again for joining me. Take care, and I'll see you next time.